Hey folks, hope you're having a tubular day. I am channeling late 90s makeup today. If you can tell, I've got space buns, wonkiest eyebrows, and shimmery baby blue eyeshadow. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Makeup Archives. Today we're going to be talking about the late 90s, if you couldn't tell. In the last edition of Makeup Archives, we talked about the early 90s from 1990 to 1994/5. Today we're going to be talking about the latter half of the 90s. Brands that started then, particular products that brands started with, makeup trends, icons, just general makeup beauty nonsense from the late 90s, which was, I think, probably the first time period where I was like fully sentient, because I was born in 1989, and in the early part of the 90s, I really wasn't aware of anything except my mom's long, low ponytail. We did not have style. We did not have style in the early 90s. We're gonna have fun with this one today. I really had fun with my makeup. I like it. I like it a lot. But before we jump into everything, I would like to say that today's video is once again sponsored by Warby Parker. Ad roll, Abigail. I've been wearing Warby Parker glasses for almost 8 years now, and I cannot recommend the brand enough. Not only do they have well-made and stylish eyeglasses and sunglasses, they also provide exceptional vision care online and in stores, including eye exams and contact lenses. So it is a one-stop shop if you need it. And if you want to check any of the locations, they are all available on Warby Parker's website. I can honestly say that the glasses I wore before I started wearing Warby Parker glasses were way more expensive and got scratched a lot easier. They would get loose after a while. So with glasses starting at $95, including prescription lenses, I was hooked almost immediately. The thing that really got me with Warby Parker and why I literally recommend it to everyone who asks me when they're like, oh my god, I love your glasses, where did you get them? Is the home try-on program. It's super easy. You go to their website and you can take the quiz to get an idea of what styles you might like, with questions about shape, color, material preferences, and then from there you choose 5 pairs of glasses to try for free for 5 days, and you aren't even obligated to buy a pair after that 5 days. Like the first time I did it years ago, I did that process 3 different times. So I tried on 15 pairs of glasses before I found the perfect pair. I personally like trying them on at home in the privacy of my own home rather than in a store or in like an eye doctor, because I don't feel like rushed and I get more time with them. I get to just feel how they feel on my face for longer than a few minutes. So I really, really like the home try-on program, especially because they give you the free shipping label. So literally it costs you nothing. Like you get stuff in the mail with the shipping label. At the end of the 5 days, you send it back with the shipping label, and then that's done. I have tried so many styles of glasses over the years, and each pair I've bought, I've worn for years. And the only time I've needed to get a new pair is when my prescription is out of date. Warby Parker styles range from narrow to extra wide to suit all face shapes and preferences, and with the measurements listed and virtual try-on via the Warby Parker app, you can really get a good idea of how things are going to fit even before you do the home try-on, which is really nice and useful. The pairs I got in this home try-on, this is called Haley. I wanted to try a little cat eye set. I don't know how I feel about it. How do you feel about it? I think they're cute. This pair is called Butler. I feel like this would be a nice one suited for anybody, really. And particularly with this set of try-ons, I really wanted to try some sunglasses, some new sunglasses. And I wanted to get some sunglasses that both I could maybe wear and then maybe Josh could wear. I wanted to see what pairs maybe he liked. So this one is Lita or Letta. These ones are cute. I've never had a pair of cat eye glasses. I don't know. I kind of like them. This is Dawson, which I really, really like. I actually really like the blue frames and the blue lenses. It's got a tortoise on the side, which I like as a fun detail. And then the last pair I got is called Durand, which I've actually tried this pair on before as a set of eyeglasses. So often Warby Parker will do the same frames in sunglasses and eyeglasses. I don't know. I kind of like it. Hey babe, do you want to come try some on?
Blue lenses, blue in the front with a little tortoise shell on the side. What do you think?
I like them. I think they're cute.
I like these. I feel like the sides The pattern is a little more than usual for me, but I like these. I think they look good. So these ones are all tortoise shell. Yeah, these ones feel like they might be a tiny bit smaller, but they're also just like the lenses aren't as tall.
Here's one that's totally outside your normal, and you don't actually wear glasses, but you might need to.
I probably should.
I think you look like a cool dad. You look like an English professor.
My quirky glasses. But, yeah.
What do you guys think? I think he looks cute. So, if any of this sounds great to you, to try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free, go to warbyparker.com/Abby. That is warbyparker.com/ABBY. Thanks so much to Warby Parker for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back to the 90s makeup. So last time we talked about the icons of Hard Candy and Bobbi Brown and Ulta. Urban Decay started in 1996. Back in that year of... What even happened in 1996? There's probably some Disney Channel original movie that I remember from 1996. I don't know. Urban Decay launched in 1996. They are so different from now, from how they started. In the late 90s, they came out with so many cool and interesting products. All of the product names and everything kind of match that Urban Decay vibe. Like one of the first eyeshadow colors was called Mildew, which is a kind of mossy, mildewy green color. In the early days of Urban Decay, they had the lickable body powders. They had nail polish. They were very well known for their nail polish and the really like cool edgy fonts and the really cool edgy designs. Urban Decay was definitely like the cool girl of the 90s. Like Urban Decay was the girl that everybody wanted to be. I never got to experience Urban Decay in the 90s and I wanted to come back. Please. Like, they brought back the lickable body powders. They were really into the sparkles and the glitter. They had a glittery lip gloss called Lip Gunk, which is not the most attractive name for a lip gloss, but it made sense because it was just full of glitter. Urban Decay really was cool, but they're not cool anymore as much. I mean, they're still kind of cool, but, like, they lost some of their sparkle. Literally. Oh, man. I want them to bring back the Pocket Rocket. That was past the 90s, but Urban Decay was really cool and innovative in the mid to late 90s. Like, there really wasn't another brand out there doing stuff like that in like mainstream stores. And I feel like they really catered to the like edgy, weird kids that were just putting colorful eyeshadow all over. Like I said, Urban Decay was the cool girl, and I wish I had experienced it. Because looking back at the old like logo, the old Urban Decay logo is so cool. Oh, I love it. I also just love 90s designs. So like, you know, Anastasia Beverly Hills technically launched in 1997, but it was mostly just a like flagship store where they did more like consultations and did actual like brow appointments and stuff. And they started out with brows. That was pretty much all they started with. They didn't actually launch a lot of products until the year 2000. So for the first few years, it was mostly like the brand plus like Anastasia herself. She was mostly working as a like professional makeup artist, and it was less that she had a lot of like staple products that she was selling. That didn't come until a couple years later. They were mostly known for their brow products. In 1998, after Anastasia had kind of established herself, she appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show and did Oprah's brows on live television, which was pretty cool. And then after that, Anastasia released her first brow collection in Nordstrom, actually, of all places, a Seattle-based company. So that's kind of cool. Oprah in 1998. Such simple beginnings, honestly. But yeah, ABH was 1997. 1998, Too Faced, I found out, were the inventors of the glitter eyeshadow, which, you know, do we thank them for that? I don't know how to answer that question, because there's been plenty of glitter eyeshadow formulas over the years that have been absolutely awful, but, you know, they were the first ones to do it, so that's something. And Too Faced was actually very kind of cute and fun when they first started. They started with this more kind of kitschy 90s vibes. Like if you look at the old logo, if you look at the old images, it was very fun. It was very of the times, and they were, again, during those like latter half of the 90s, both with Urban Decay and Too Faced, that bright and fun and colorful, glittery, sparkly, all of that stuff was really hitting the mainstream. And Too Faced was one of the like main brands that helped to push that out to like the masses. Truth be told, Too Faced really went downhill when they got bought out by the bigger brands. So, you know, they now have like a very kind of streamlined palette design as far as like the metal palettes, like all the peach ones and the chocolate bars. They all have the same shape. They used to have that streamlined design with the little like 6 pan plus 3 larger pans palette, like the natural eyes or the lustful eyes or the smoky eyes, you know, that had the little like chart that showed where you put things if you wanted to follow a chart. But they were definitely kind of hitting that market at the right time. And now, as much as I get annoyed with Too Faced kind of having their dual personality of being like really childish and kitschy and then also really like tacky, I feel like back in the 90s that presented itself more as like fun and over the top and also like day-to-day natural. But now Too Faced goes from like childish fun times to like a face powder called Pat the Puss. So times change, obviously. Next, Tarte Cosmetics started in 1999. And I got into Tarte pretty quickly after getting into the makeup community on YouTube. And that was when their Amazonian clay blushes were like all the rage. Like Tarte Amazonian clay blush in Exposed was a cult product. But what Tarte launched with was a cheek stain, which they still have the cheek stains, like the cheek stain balm things. The design, the packaging is different. The font, the logo is actually still very much the same, which is interesting. They haven't changed that at all. It's not a bad logo. Like it's not a bad brand design. It's like minimalist, but without being super boring. But they launched with a cheek stain and they just were in the little like twist up little balm stick, look like deodorant things. And you could put it on your face directly. You could put it on your fingers. You could put it on a brush, you know? Cheek stains, that was the thing. But the cheek stains from Tarte was the first thing that came out with in 1999. Oh man, that's cute. Yeah, the cheek stain. They still have them. They still have the cheek stains. All right. Liprageous lip balm. Oh man. These came in these little like, it looked like little candy containers that you would get out of a like plastic jar at the front of like a drugstore. It literally looked like little things of candies or of mints, but they were teeny tiny little lip balms and they were so fun. And they actually came out with a line that had each member of NSYNC's face like printed on it, which was the size of your thumb. Oh my god. Teeny tiny things were really just a thing back then. Remember Bon Bon nail polishes? These, again, were like in little jars at dollar stores or corner stores, and they probably had them at like Bartell's or Sally's, but they're tiny, teeny tiny little nail polish bottles, which now I would love a tiny nail polish bottle because you would use it up a lot faster and it was really cheap. We had them at slumber parties, like at birthday parties. We would paint our nails. We would get them in our Easter baskets. We would get them in our Christmas stockings. We would get them as like little gifty baskets from friends. They were just these teeny tiny little nail polishes that were pretty pigmented, but just very small. Smashbox started in 1997 and they actually launched their first product that they launched was their photo finish primer. Probably their best-selling product of all time was the first product that they came out with, which is kind of like a badass move to have the first product that you launch be the best product you ever come out with. Now that I say it, it kind of sounds a little sad. Maybe not the best product, the most popular product. They definitely knew what they were doing when they started, and I don't know if they've changed the formula much over the years, but like people liked it. People don't usually go for that kind of silicone-y primer as much anymore, just because we have so many different kinds of primers, more like pore filling primers and hydrating primers. But at the time, that kind of primer was it. Like that was all the rage, and Smashbox was one of the forefronts of that. It was like Smashbox and Makeup Forever were like the big people, the big brands that had those kind of silicone-y primers. For sure. Now let's just talk about some frickin' makeup styles. Oh man. When I think of the late 90s, right, I think of people like Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Lopez, Drew Barrymore, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Destiny's Child. Like, there's a photo of here that I found of Destiny's Child in the late 90s, and oh my god, Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mom, really went hard on their costumes in the early days of Destiny's Child. But the kind of overall bigger makeup trends of the late 90s were a lot of like thinner brows. The early 90s, you had a lot of these really bushy, really natural, really filled in, maybe not filled in, but just like full brows. People like Christy Turlington and Cindy Crawford. When you got into the latter half of the 90s, you kind of got a little more, I don't want to say dainty, but the brows were a bit thinner and were a bit more drawn in. And then the eyeshadow was a bit less natural. With brands coming out with stuff like glittery eyeshadows and sparkly eyeshadows, more in the mainstream, you had shimmery, frosty blue eyeshadow being like the thing. Like literally when you think of like, oh, 90s makeup, late 90s makeup, blue eyeshadow, let's slap it all over our eyes. I'm wearing a blue eyeshadow from my Odin's Eye palette. I don't remember which one, but I'll put in the description. It's kind of perfect actually. There was also a lot of brown lipstick, which like kept and stayed over from the early 90s. But in the later 90s, you had a lot more of this type of brown lipstick where you had darker brown around the outside and a more nude on the inside. A lot more frosted lipsticks. Frosty lipsticks really gained in popularity in the late 90s. Whether I'm happy about it or not entirely sure, but frosted eyeshadow, frosted lipsticks,
frosted tips,
frosted everything. Frosty pink lipstick, frosty nude lipstick, frosty brown lipstick. Like there was not a lot of blush in the 90s. A lot of blush in the 80s, and then a lot of bronzer in the 2000s, and like during that interim in the later 90s, it was a lot of like more natural looking skin with a lot of stuff happening on the eyes. Frosty blue eyeshadow with like waterlined black eyeliner, which is what I'm doing today. Frosty brow highlight. Like just the frostiest of looks. I don't know if the skinny brows are going to come back. Do people want the skinny brows to come back? I couldn't physically make my brows that skinny unless I not hot glued, but glue stick them down and then like drew over them. I wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. But that was definitely like iconic of the late 90s. Oh my god. So you had the like frosty blue eyeshadow, the skinny brows, the brown lipstick or the frosty brown lipstick. But then you also had, I feel like with a lot of the younger crowd, with people like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera and younger, a lot of glitter, a lot of like roll-on body glitter. Oh my
god.
Do you remember like the smell of roll-on body glitter from Bath and Body Works? It smelled so bad, but so good at the same time. It was like addicting how much that stuff smelled good. It was like kind of like nail polish, but not quite. You could put it on your face, you could put it on your body. We did a lot of it like here. We actually just did it on our arms sometimes too, because, you know, we were 8 and who cares? Like roll-on body glitter and like glitter all over your face. Glitter was having its moment in the late 90s for sure. For sure. Everything was frosty, everything was sparkly. It was very much like futuristic because the new millennium was the new thing. Everybody was doing stuff like, what's everything gonna look like in the new millennium? So you had movies like Xenon Girl of the 21st Century really, really going hard and going in on that like super futuristic look with like shimmery clothing and like weird sweatsuit material shirts and funky hairstyles, but it was all very futuristic. The late 90s was definitely much more futuristic in style, both with like makeup and with fashion. The early 90s were much more kind of grunge heavy, a little bit more of a rollover from like the ennui of the late 80s. The late 90s, however, was a lot more like celebrity becoming more of a thing. You had pop stars becoming a huge thing again, like the boy bands. You had the Backstreet Boys, you had NSYNC, you had Christina Aguilera, you had Jennifer Lopez, you had Britney Spears. You had all of these people who were style icons just for the fact that they were famous. So you had a lot of people trying to recreate that kind of look and that kind of vibe, this very futuristic, sparkly, spacey type of look. Silver eyeshadow, that was another thing. That was another thing for sure. And butterfly clips. I don't have any butterfly clips, but I have butterfly earrings. I kind of want butterfly clips though. Is that weird? They probably have them at Claire's still, right? When I think of the late 90s, the two movies that I think of, I mean, the movies of the late 90s are some of my favorites, whether it's 10 Things I Hate About You or Can't Hardly Wait or Romeo and Michelle's 10-year reunion. Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Michelle and Romeo and Juliet were definitely the most like stylish out of all of them. Probably the one that sticks out in my head is Romeo and Michelle when they come back to their reunion after they've like dropped the facade of being businesswomen in their like sparkly, shimmery, pink, feathery, not sequin, but just like shiny outfits. Icons. Iconic. I think that was a really fun time. It was a very simple time when it came to just human existence. I feel like the only thing that really happened that was like rocking the world too much, at least when I was that age that I was aware of, was the Clinton Lewinsky thing. It was a pretty simple time. The only thing other than that was a little crazy was the Y2K freak out, because everybody was like, what's gonna happen when it hits midnight of the year 2000? Oh, the computers are gonna explode. Like, the world is gonna end. I don't know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun doing my makeup and doing this. I definitely think for the other videos that I do about different decades, I will be doing makeup inspired by those times as well as I can. Obviously, if I go back into like, I don't know, the 1800s, there's a lot less makeup going on, and I'll probably have to go into like French Regency type makeup and stuff. But we're gonna stick with the 1900s for now, because we have plenty of decades and plenty of videos to make. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That would be super helpful. Let me know any of your favorite makeup. If you were aware and alive and sentient and speaking during that time period, if you are like me and remember it fondly, yeah, let me know in the comments down below. For today's song of the day, actually, let's have today's song of the day be Letters to Cleo's cover of I Want You to Want Me by Cheap Trick, which was at the very end of 10 Things I Hate About You, which was filmed at Stadium High School in Tacoma, Washington, where I have been to multiple times, and I sat on the steps that Heath Ledger danced on, and it still makes me sad every time I think about it. But that's a really good song. It's a really fun cover of like an iconic classic. Oh my god, the song is so good. Yeah, I Want You to Want Me from Letters to Cleo is your song of the day. If you would like to see more of me, subscribe. That'd be cool. That'd be super cool and awesome. And rad. What are some other 90s lingo? Sick, tubular. I don't even remember what else. Sound like a skater, like a member of Team X Blades. Oh man, I love Brink. But if you would like to follow me elsewhere on social media, my Instagram and my Twitter are both Abras07, and then my Twitch is Abras without the 07, so you can follow me on any of those places. Thanks again so much to Warby Parker for sponsoring today's video yet again. I very much appreciate it. Definitely go check the links down below. I'll have some links to stories and sources where I got images and like articles from, because it's kind of interesting, honestly, looking at just makeup history from 25 years ago. But check them out for sure. Thanks for watching, everyone. Go get a drink of water. It is Friday. Hope you are staying well rested. Hope you are staying hydrated. Have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye.